Did you know that right now, millions of Americans over 55 could be at serious risk of missing their Social Security payments, not because of anything they did wrong, but simply because the rules quietly changed? If you've been getting your benefits the same way for years, thinking everything is fine, you absolutely need to hear what's happened. Stay with me for the next few minutes, because this information could save you from a major financial headache, and please hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss updates like this one. Now, let's get into the heart of what's really going on, because this is something that affects tens of millions of people across the country, and the changes have been rolling out quietly, without much fanfare, which is exactly why so many folks are still catching up. Let's start with the biggest shift of all. As of September 30th, 2025, the Social Security Administration officially stopped issuing paper checks. That's right, the old paper check in the mailbox is gone. Now, if you've been receiving your benefits that way for years, maybe even decades, this is the part where you really need to pay attention. You are now required to receive your payments electronically. There are two main ways to do this. The first is through direct deposit into your bank account. The second is through something called the Direct Express Debit MasterCard, which is a prepaid card issued specifically for this purpose. If you haven't already made the switch, you need to act right away. The reason this matters so much is that without enrolling in one of these options, your payments could stop entirely, and getting them reinstated involves a formal waiver process through the U.S. Treasury, which, as many of you know from experience, is never a quick or easy thing. Think back to the days when getting a check in the mail felt completely normal, dependable, even comforting. For a lot of us, that envelope arriving each month was as reliable as a morning cup of coffee. But times have changed, and while it can feel disorienting to let go of old habits, this shift to electronic payments actually comes with some real advantages: faster access to your money, no risk of a check getting lost or stolen in the mail, and no waiting around for the postal service during holiday seasons when delivery gets backed up. Once you're set up with direct deposit or the Direct Express card, your money lands right where it needs to be, automatically. Now, here's something that tripped up a lot of people earlier this year, and it's worth slowing down to explain carefully. Back in March 2025, the SSA put strict new rules in place around how you can update your bank account information. The reason was alarming: there had been a 40% rise in direct deposit fraud. Criminals had figured out how to impersonate beneficiaries over the phone and reroute payments into accounts they controlled. So the SSA acted decisively. You can no longer change your bank information simply by calling in and answering a few identifying questions the way you used to. That option has been completely removed. So what do you do if you need to update your banking details? You now have two options, and only two. The first is to go online through your My Social Security account, where you'll be guided through a process that includes two-factor authentication, meaning you'll verify your identity using a second step like a code sent to your phone. The second option, if you're not comfortable doing things online, is to visit your local SSA field office in person. Bring your identification, and a staff member will help you through the update process. Here's some genuinely good news buried inside this change. Once your update is verified, the change now typically takes effect within just one business day. Compare that to the old system, where you might wait up to 30 days for a bank account update to process. That's a real improvement. Now, let's talk about something that's been causing a lot of confusion for folks who call the SSA's main 800 number. Beginning in March 2026, the Social Security Administration moved to a centralized national call routing system. What does that mean in plain English? It means that when you call the 800 number, your call no longer goes directly to a local office near you. Instead, it gets routed to the next available representative anywhere in the national network. The reason for this change was a serious backlog problem. By late 2025, there were more than 12 million delayed transactions piling up across the system. Routing calls nationally was designed to distribute the workload more evenly and reduce those wait times. So if you call and the person who answers doesn't seem to know your local office's quirks, that's why. They're helping people from all over the country. It's a new way of doing things, and it takes a little getting used to, but it was put in place to ultimately serve you better. And here's something a lot of people haven't heard about yet, something that's actually wonderful news for many. Under the Social Security Fairness Act, millions of recipients who were previously affected by provisions known as WEP and GPO, the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset, have begun receiving one-time retroactive payments throughout March 2026. These are lump sum deposits that correct years of underpayments for people like retired teachers, firefighters, police officers, and other public servants who had their Social Security benefits reduced because of the way those rules interacted with their pensions. If you or someone you know falls into that category, keep a close eye on your bank account. There's a good chance that money is already on its way or will be arriving very soon. Now let's cover something that might seem small but causes a surprising amount of worry every month: the payment schedule. Your Social Security payment date is tied to your date of birth, and that hasn't changed. If your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th of any month, you receive your payment on the second Wednesday. If your birthday falls between the 11th and the 20th, it's the third Wednesday. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and the 31st, it's the fourth Wednesday. For March 2026 specifically, that translated to March 11th for the first group, March 18th for the second group, and March 25th for the third. And for those of you receiving Supplemental Security Income, SSI, because March 1st fell on a Sunday this year, those payments were issued early on February 27th. So if you checked your account on March 1st and the money wasn't there, that was the reason. It had already arrived a few days early. A little detail that can cause a lot of unnecessary panic if you don't know to expect it. What all of this adds up to is a Social Security system in the middle of some of the most significant changes it has seen in years. From eliminating paper checks and tightening fraud protections, to modernizing how calls are handled and correcting long-standing payment inequities, these are meaningful shifts that affect your financial life in real and practical ways. The best thing any of us can do is stay informed, make sure our banking information is up to date and accessible electronically, and reach out to the SSA through the proper channels, either through your My Social Security online account or in person, when something needs to change. Coming up next, we're going to wrap everything together and talk about exactly what steps you should take right now, today, to make sure your benefits are protected and your payments keep coming without any interruptions. Trust me, you don't want to miss the action list we've put together for you.